corpse of Pharaoh being saved by God, and the fact remained hidden to the eyes, to the sight of earlier people. Suddenly it was discovered. So these discoveries are sometimes designed to be made later on at appropriate times. So the appropriate time for the declaration of this truth was the time when the promised Messiah was sent. He had to fight his battle, he had to prove to the world. So this is exactly as it should have been.
From the Holy Book.
Yes. The scientists of the world prove from the facts of life which are present there, were present. In fact, right from for billions of years, the facts were here in the world, but they were hidden.
Means there are still so many facts.
Of course. This process is being unfolded by God. It will continue to be so. You can never encompass knowledge. It is only Allah who can encompass knowledge as such. And man can only be led to a portion thereof, whenever Allah so desires. So in this world, ordinary world, we find that every day new knowledge is added to humankind, while the phenomena was there already. The facts are not added. It's only our comprehension of the facts which changes. The moons and the stars, the moon and the stars, planets, etc., all the apparent motions of the sun and the moon, the apparent motion, they were the same, yet they were interpreted differently. So why don't you object against these scientists that how on earth could you find it today, while your forefathers, the great people at the time of Aristotle and so on, they missed the same facts while they were there all the time. Why don't you object to them and reject this? Yes, Dr. Aziz Sahib? Yes, please.
I think that not Fadlullah Musa, not Fadlullah Muslim Jews Bata is similar that Lan Fadlullah Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed. All messengers are messengers of God, but on the other hand, Quran says, Tilka Rasul Fadlullah Ba'dul Abbas. So this clarifies the question.
Also involved with.
All right, and one is over the other. They are both right.
I follow what you mean, but I wonder if everybody has understood you correctly. Yeah, I know you won't, of course. You know, he says, what he wants to point out is a very wise way of making you understand. He draws your attention to two statements of the Holy Quran which are apparently contradictory to each other, but are not contradictory to each other. One statement says, La nufarriqu baina ahadim mir rusuli, that the admission of all the prophets and those who believed with them was that we do not differentiate between any of his prophets. Yet the Holy Quran goes on to declare, Tilka Rusulu Faddulna Ba'dahum ala Ba'd. These are the prophets, messengers, of whom we Faddulna gave preference? No. Exalted, yes, exalted. Exalted is in status over others. So apparently the two statements are contradictory to each other. Yet they are not. The meaning of the one belongs to a different region, and the meaning of the other belongs to a different region. So they do not contradict each other. Only the angle of vision is different. When Allah says La nufarriqu baina ahadim mir rusuli, this is the admission of the people who believe. It means, this verse means that whatever comes from God, as far as belief in that person is concerned, we will not differentiate. We will not differentiate between messengers of God as far as their truth is concerned. Whether they belong to Arabia or to other countries of the world, whether they came in the past or they came now or they appear in the future, whoever comes from God, as far as our belief is concerned, we will make no differentiation of color or creed or geographic regions or time. That does not mean that they are equal in status. Yet in the other place when the Holy Quran says, Tilka Rusul faddalna ba'dhum ala ba'z, it means that of all the prophets who were all true, some of them exalted over others, above others. So the statements are not contradictory. Similarly, he thinks that traditions of the Holy Prophet can be reconciled, where he says he is not superior to other prophets. He may mean in a way different to the way in which he declared that he was the most superior, Khatam al-Nabiyyin, the very best of things. He declares it very categorically. So what Dr. Sahib has in mind, that maybe the reconciliation lies in the same direction as we reconcile the two verses of the Holy Quran. Is that what you had in mind? Correct? Yes. Now this is what he wanted to say. But there, the hadith which you have quoted, I don't think it is possible to reconcile the tradition, these two traditions, in the same manner as these two verses can be reconciled. There the issue involved was the issue of preference of one over the other. So the declaration of Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was in response to that particular question. So there, you can't say that here he might have meant a completely different thing. You follow the point or not? The hadith to which Mr. Rashid pointed out, if the wording is correct, then it is very difficult to handle the wording of that hadith. The wording is, do not declare me to be superior or exalted above all other prophets. Do not declare me to be superior over any prophet in the world. This is the wording of the hadith. So this is why I rejected this wording, because it's very difficult to reconcile this with the declaration of the Holy Quran and other traditions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if, as I believe, the true wording is La tukhayyiruni or La tufaddiluni ala Musa, then you can easily reconcile this statement with other statements of the Holy Prophet and the Holy Quran. Because there, Hazrat Musa's followers' feelings were hurt. So, in that particular situation, Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prohibited his followers to declare him to be superior, where the followers of other prophets might take offense, because that was a particular situation. So I think I personally believe that this wording which he has quoted is not correct, because the same incident is related differently and more logically in other versions of the same tradition. Yes, please. Just a minute after.
Regarding the same question,
yes.
I was reading, Hazrat Masih Maud has written about this. मेरा मतलब ये है कि अगर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को अलग किया जाता और कौन नबी जो उस वक्त तक गुजर चुके थे सब के सब इकट्ठे होकर वो काम और इस्लाह करना चाहते जो रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने की तो हर कोई कर सकते हैं.
Correct.
And then he says,
No, just a minute.
Nothing.
I know. The fact is that this is our belief, this is